You know that satisfying feeling where you finally get to do the thing that you've been wanting to do for like months? For my personal experience, years. Yeah, so let's talk about that. Hi, I am your local internet friend, aka Toki, and as soon as I log back in, instead of making two separate videos for two separate months, I'm going to still be making two separate videos, but separating them from what I've been able to start on and or do, and what I've had to process in order to get to that point. Realistically, I should be doing it the other way around, like telling you what I've had to mentally and emotionally process through to be able to do the thing that I was planning on doing anyway, and telling you exactly what I've been up to as I'm doing so. But no, this one's going to be different because I have to talk about it. And I will first start off with what my plan for May was. So I've been talking a lot about how I've always wanted to write music and how I've been getting back into that slowly. I've accumulated a decent amount of songs that I've at least started the production process and needed a reason to at least finish them. Insert possible album project. The thing that I had been talking about that I was super excited to talk about in my previous update video. Now, the possible album project was supposed to be a collection of 8 to 10 songs that I have created myself. And that would it created as in I've worked on writing the lyrics myself. I worked on creating the instrumental or the lo-fi inspired instrumental. And what I was planning on doing was having that as a collection and using them in my own YouTube videos as like background music or music for when I want to do like time lapses or something like that. And I know I said I was going to talk more about like the stuff that I've had to process through in order to get to that point. Like in another video, I'm going to be doing a separate video for that. But one of the main things that kept me from actually being able to do this was honestly a lot of subconscious pushback. I talked about this in my previous update video, where you have a lot of people, or you have a certain amount of people that you're always around that judge you for the things that you're doing and the fact that you're doing things differently than they would have, or that they have been doing. How else do I say that? Processing through all of that allowed me to bring to the surface the subconscious and unconscious problems I have when it comes to working on making music specifically. Hurdles I didn't think I would have to actually hop over. Yep. To be fair, you can't plan for what you don't see. So I'm glad I was able to finally be able to see it so I can handle like working past it. And the fact that I originally started writing songs in 5th grade and now getting to a point where I feel confident in my own writing to be making an entire possible album. There we go. That was the main reason as to why I was so excited to talk about it. Because I'm excited to talk about music in general. Again, if a lot of the videos of me talking about my own interpretation of other people's songs and full-length album analysis says anything about that. While the project itself might not be finished right now, I will be working on finishing it later. And two of the main things I've gotten out of this project, outside of creating music just makes me very excited, was I learned more about the song production process, specifically because I'm using GarageBand, free version of GarageBand. It's taking a lot longer than I originally anticipated because it's not an intuitive system for my brain. But I have also picked at least 4 songs out of the ones that I've written and lyrically got most of them up to the bridge. One of them have already been finished lyrically, but I need to work on the instrumental to be able to say that the song is completely finished. So 4 out of the 8 to 10 have already been chosen and for the most part finished. And I might be working on the second half soon. I might also just have to take about like 2 more months of like impulsively starting song projects again. And the second thing, finally I can actually get up to this point, is restructuring the way that I am learning Korean. Before I continue on with that, a little moment to like rant a bit. I've done like 4 different takes of this video, and this is the first time I was actually able to get past the possible album project to go ahead and talk about the other thing. And there have been there was this one time I was trying to record this and I've already gotten past like 11 minutes before I even got finished with the point I was trying to make. I'm very mentally exhausted. The way that Duolingo works with my brain, it allows me to practice and to like be able to, it allows me to practice, and it also teaches me vocabulary words, but it doesn't really help me with being able to memorize the language in order to be able to like speak it fluently. So the listening comprehension does not really work with the system that Duolingo is using. On top of that, they also decided to be more AI focused when it comes to how they're teaching teaching languages, which I do not agree with at the very least. So I was already needing to go ahead and restructure the way that I'm learning Korean and be a bit more proactive when it comes to learning the language from a conversational standpoint. But that just kicked it into high gear. When it comes to writing the information, writing and organizing the information, I'm doing that in the same manner that I did my spiritual binder or journal. But when it comes to like actually learning the language and like being able to, like, how can you tell that you've learned something, that you understand something? Being able to point it out while you're listening to something that's speaking in said language, and seeing as though I am still into K-pop, that is very easy. I did not say this earlier. I probably should have. My main focus when it came to the month of June was to focus more on making learning Korean a habit. And as of recording this video, the 24th of June, I have at least gotten to a point where I can say what year I was born. Like, I already knew how to say hi, hello, nice to meet you, my name is. I also was able to say like simple sentences like I'm hungry, I miss you, I'm sleepy. And I'm now also able to say I'm vegetarian, and will be learning how to ask about whether there's meat or a certain type of meat type broth in food. So I'm learning, the way that I've structured it is how to introduce yourself and how to talk about yourself, and then learning the vocabulary that I would need to be able to say those things. Which, my first thing that I was working on was like learning the number system, because the Korean language has two different number systems, and they're both used. They're not used interchangeably. They're both used for specific reasons, and having to memorize which one to use was an entire issue. Don't worry, I wrote that down too. And the main result that I'm getting from that is I'm able to pinpoint numbers. I'm able to pinpoint numbers when they're being said. As I said earlier in this video, I'm also able to say that I was born in 1999. My goal is to not need subtitles, but I fear the way that my brain works, I would still need subtitles if my brain is already tired. And as for everything that I've been doing, that is about it. But that's about it for me. And this is Toki saying Toki out.